Devil May Cry 2 might be the worst sequel in video game history. A literal fall from grace. It is a miracle that the franchise somehow returned to peak. In this game, you play as Dante, allegedly. It's hard to tell because he says almost nothing and constantly looks like he doesn't know where he is. When the game starts, it's actually kinda promising. The first 20 seconds is like, okay, Capcom, I didn't know Dante was in the Olympics this year. They really trick you into thinking you're about to have fun. And then you run into the first enemies and find out that the lock-on system is insane. It doesn't matter who's near you or what button you press, you're gonna hit the wrong guy. It's automatic for some reason, and trying to switch to the right enemy is virtually impossible. There's a recurring boss fight with these two dogs, and they're going fucking nuts, bouncing off the walls and screaming. And I'm standing right next to one, missing constantly because Dante is determined to fight the other one. This happens all the time, and it's especially bad in boss fights where the only thing you want to hit is the one guy who won't get targeted. In DMC 1, the camera was pretty good at following Dante, unless he super jumped off the screen or something. In DMC 2, the camera will sometimes just pick a random spot and make it the main character. I'm over here, the guy I somehow managed to lock onto is right here, so who the fuck is over here? What are we looking at? I'm in a boss fight right now, but you probably can't tell because neither of us are on the screen. If you're lucky, you'll get the perfect fight where the camera, the lock-on, and the dogs all conspire to earn the game a 5.1 on Metacritic. Every time the dogs show up, I start cackling like a maniac. I give up, man. Just try not to get any wolf poop all over the walls. One of my favorite things about DMC 1 was exploring the absolutely enormous castle on Mallet Island. It felt like every room had something interesting going on. Like you jump through a hole in the floor and now you're being attacked by evil puppets. Surprise, mother. Or you take a stroll by the fountain and now you're being attacked by an evil statue. Surprise, mother. Or you're chilling in your bedroom practicing the art of infinite stabs and your fucking mirror is evil and now you're gonna get infinite stabbed. This castle is terrifying. Compare that to DMC 2 and it's just, huh? You're doing a high-speed surf down a gnarly half-pipe. You're doing backflips on the world's longest industrial elevator. This mission is all about catching the train on time. All of these environments are neither spooky nor interesting to walk through. It feels like every mission is categorized into either being long, repetitive hallways that are huge but somehow filled with nothing, or super cramped tight quarters with like 30 guys. Can someone please, God, move this camera further away from me? Before, I was finding trapdoors to hidden rooms under golden coffins, and now I'm in an office building elevator? Is Dante clocking in right now? Is the next boss my literal boss? What happened to the mystery? What happened to the spookiness? Don't get me wrong, fighting a demon monkey in a train station is hilarious. Thank you, Devil May Cry 2. But after the creepy, quasi-open world exploration from the first game, it's like total whiplash. Alright, it's hard to go any further into the video without digging into the combat. It's like the thing that makes this a video game. Dante starts out with the Rebellion Sword and a couple of the abilities from DMC 1 that basically boil down to spamming the triangle button for this combo, or holding R1 and pressing triangle to aggressively miss enemies because of the fucking lock-on system. You can also knock enemies up into the air, but if you follow them, watch out for the god-awful mid-air combat controls. Like I said earlier, Dante's movement is generally much smoother. He can dodge around with one button this time, run on walls, fly away, dip out to a better game maybe, but jumping is still not good, brother. Controlling Dante in the air is mathematically impossible. I solved a lot of equations to prove that this sucks. Trying to fight in the air combined with the auto lock-on system is atrocious. Don't even bother, man. Instead, you should use any of the insanely overpowered guns that the game provides.
Oh, shit.
Ebony and Ivory are good for juggling, and I can't even see this guy's shenanigans. The shotgun is a close-range monster that's great for bosses and knocking dudes silly, and the rocket launcher, holy shit, it's an actual rocket launcher. Probably just use that one. Yeah, this is way better than trying to get good at the game. Devil Trigger mode is back, and it's once again the greatest mechanic of all time. Going Super Saiyan and obliterating enemies was the highlight of the game for me. And they added a great system with the amulet that lets you customize your Devil Trigger and add different effects to your abilities. This is a good change from 1. I almost can't even believe it's in the game. Like DMC 1, there are also multiple swords in the game, but for the life of me, I can't figure out why. The only thing that I know about each sword is the one sentence I can read on the equip screen. You start with this one. This one is a little longer. There doesn't seem to be any reason to keep using Rebellion, so that one's out. I legitimately can't remember a single time I missed because my sword was 1 pixel too short, so Merciless is out. Oh man, I guess that leaves us with the one that looks the coolest and does the most damage. Aw, jeez, fellas, what a predicament. But even the way that you find these new weapons is super lame. I'm trying to get a lightning-infused sword launched straight into my chest cavity. That's the one for me, man. That's my sword. The guns are also pretty light on info about stats or damage, but I had a pretty easy time distinguishing between the pistols and the rocket launcher. Wow. Every weapon can be upgraded with the red orbs you collect from enemies, or from beating the bricks off whatever this is, or the end of missions where they tell you how bad you are at the game. Uh-oh. Pretty bad. And when you do upgrade your weapons, the game just goes, alright dude, whatever. I have no idea what upgrading the swords does. I assume it's just a flat damage boost, but knowing DMC2, it's probably a damage reduction and a clown horn that plays whenever you miss. There's also the same shop system from 1, where you can buy on-use items that will restore health or Devil Trigger or even increase the size of your bars. But you probably won't need any of that because this game is turbo easy. When I played DMC 1 a couple months ago, I was getting my ass kicked in every room of that castle. This guy stinks! There was probably less than 5 missions where I didn't have to restart at least once. But in DMC 2, I'm a god, baby! Big man dropping demons like a pro! Don't look at that! The normal enemies in this game are pathetic. The little monkeys are mostly what you'll be fighting, and they're completely free. The bigger enemies that show up can all be stun locked with the ranged weapons. And you know what the craziest part is? You don't even have to fight most of the enemies in the game. You can just run past 95% of them without any issue. Of course, you are missing out on the red orbs that they would drop, but the game is so easy that it doesn't even matter. Devil Trigger mode and the various upgrades you get for it will carry you in the boss fights regardless. All of these things culminated in me clearing the game in just over 2.5 hours. I didn't have to use a continue until the very last boss fight, where this absolute monstrosity clapped my cheeks over and over and over again.
He needs some milk!
But then I remembered that the people who made this game were actually very clever in their design. They realized that getting into close range with the sword is incredibly effective at ending the fight. For the boss. So they made sure that every encounter in the game is best dealt with by using your guns instead. Like this beautiful helicopter encounter where if you try to use Dante's main weapon at all, you'll get knocked off a building and fall forever. So instead, just use devil guns. In fact, how about I just use that on every boss forever? I didn't want to play the game anyways. This might be the biggest and most impactful change from DMC 1 to DMC 2. In the first game, your guns are basically only to keep your combo up and add some style points here and there. Even in Devil Trigger mode, the damage is doggy doo-doo butt cheeks. And the reason is because Devil May Cry 1 is a melee-oriented action game, where both of the main weapon types are up-close and personal demon smashers. Sure, there's a boss that requires you to make use of your guns, but it's just this one guy that really loves eating bullets. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out! Devil May Cry 2, despite having virtually the same equipment as 1, is begging you to throw away your swords, lest you be completely mogged by the 2 HP wizard nerds. You're gonna let a Brontomancer mog you? A guy who does Brontomancy? What the fuck is Brontomancy? So ultimately, you're left with 2 choices. Try to have fun, do cool combos, and struggle against every single boss, or just press L1 and hold square because it never fails. In my experience, it's pretty rare to find a game that's so poorly designed that you can fight every boss with the same strategy and it always works. The last thing I want to talk about is the story because it's almost incomprehensible. The story revolves around 4 characters, and by that I mean the story revolves around one character, Grandma. Dante meets Grandma at the end of Mission 1, and she casually mentions that Arius sucks and Dante should beat him up. Dante says fuck it, we ball, and that's it. That's all the setup you get. Lucia shows up like a deadbeat dad a couple times to remind you she exists, but is largely irrelevant.
I'm expendable.
That's correct. And Arius has the world record for least intimidating presence in a video game.
I will become an all-powerful immortal!
So the only other character that matters, and also has the most voice lines, is Grandma.
What are you doing, Grandma?
There are no cutscenes with dialogue from Mission 2 to Mission 8. When Dante confronts Arius, who leaves immediately, we don't see our main character again until Chapter 12, when she asks Dante to save Lucia from Arius because the two decided to have a mid-off and they're both losing. Dante saves Lucia from Arius, who's just a bad guy, by the way, not a demon or even a combatant, really. This is the main antagonist. He's the villain, brother. Dante fights the actual demon and the game ends. If I was invested in the Devil May Cry cinematic universe when this game came out, this game probably would have ruined my life.